people trying to come to Africa to fix their problems or their issues, that Africa won't heal you. Let me repeat, Africa won't heal you. Shalom YouTube family, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome to the family.
In today's video, we'll be discussing why African Americans leave Africa and never return.
Also on this channel, we'll be traveling throughout the continent to show you the real Africa.
If you like this type of content, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Let's go. The first thing we're gonna discuss is YouTubers selling a dream. So we've talked about this in previous videos, but a lot of people on YouTube tell you all of the positive things and just skip the negative altogether. We try not to do that. When we have negative experiences and we put them in videos, people get in the comments and they're mad. They say, oh, you said this about my country, you said that. But we're trying to be realistic for people that want to come here and not tell you that it's just a cakewalk if that's not the case.
Yeah, it's not rainbows and sunshines anywhere, and you're going to struggle any place that you move to. And they have YouTubers out here telling people basically how everything is good. In actuality, they struggle themselves and don't show the real struggles. The people that's coming need to see the real deal, like the real side of Africa, to be prepared for when they come. And then you see when they do come, they have all these issues and struggles, and they feel like they've been lied to and cheated, and end up going back and blaming, everything and everyone around them.
I think it's the reason why so many people who do go back to America, if they have YouTube channels, they say overwhelmingly negative things about Africa. But I feel like it's because they walk into it expecting it to be perfect, and then it's not. And you can be prepared for things if you know these things are going to happen. So I feel like people don't come actually prepared because they expect something completely different. And then it's also bad because I feel like a lot of people who stay make it as if, oh, the weak people leave and stuff like that. But it's like, if you're telling people to come because it's perfect and blah, 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 basically lying to people. And then they get here and then it's way harder than that and they end up leaving. It's kind of like you probably shouldn't be talking about how dumb they are that they couldn't make it or how unprepared they were, because if they were getting prepared based upon you, then it's kind of your fault too.
So you have to take accountability for it. And if you're somebody that's doing it, please stop it and give the real. You might get some backlash from it, but people deserve honesty. And so my advice to the people that's coming, just do your research. If you want to visit, come visit first, but make sure that this is something that you're being called to do, one, by the Most High, and something that you're prepared for as much as possible.
The next thing that we're going to talk about is unrealistic expectations. So since we've been to different African countries, there's always some people in those countries who feel like we think we're better because we're American. And I feel like America as a whole puts forth that image, but we don't obviously believe that. But I think that some people, when they come, do believe that. That you're from America and you speak English and you're using US dollars and you've got a degree from wherever. And that does not necessarily mean that you're gonna be the cream of the crop and at the top of the pile when you get to these different countries. I know people think that they can just start businesses and just do all these things easily, and it does not work like that.
So when people come out here and they see that they have a bunch of issues, especially when starting a business or something like that, they immediately give up and want to leave, or want to, like I said, blame others. But in reality, everybody struggles, and you really have to grind and put the work in if you're going to be successful. And
processes to do things here are not necessarily the same as America. So you can have a business in America and you went and filled out the paperwork, or you can get like an LLC online, filling out paperwork online, and then have them just do it. Out here, it's not like that. You have to put in the legwork. You have to know where to go and what to do and what papers you need. And then there's the language barrier in most countries.
And another thing I want to talk about is people trying to come to Africa to fix their problems or their issues. That Africa won't heal you. Let me repeat, Africa won't heal you. You come out here, you need to have your stuff together. And I'm not saying that you need to be perfect or that everything needs to be right in your life, but if you think you're gonna come here and those struggles that you have in whatever country that you're coming from, it's not gonna transfer over, you've been sadly mistaken. You will have those same issues, it might be in a different way, but they won't go. This is something internally that you have to fix before you decide you're gonna come here and thrive, you know? So just think about that before coming, because a lot of people leave when they figure out that they're having the same exact issues that they had in America.
The next thing is people tend to spend a lot more money than they thought that they would. When we first came, we had an idea of what we needed and we had money and things like that. But you don't really know, because when you get to a place, there's things that you want to use that, you know, are similar to what you had before, and those aren't necessarily local things. So imported things cost more. You know, if you go to the grocery store instead of going to like the markets, that's going to cost more. You know, there's so many different things, and I think that, you know, people don't really have a real understanding of what things are going to cost and what they're going to be, because, you know, like we said, when you look on, you do research or you look on YouTube or whatever, you see that things are so much cheaper, but that still is going to depend on you. And I feel like people kind of ball out in a sense when they get here, because stuff is so much cheaper than America. You feel like it's cheap because it's less than there, but then you end up spending more than you really should in the place that you're at.
Yeah, and also, as a foreigner coming in, especially when you first move to a country, you're going to be overcharged. So you might see the cost of living online and stuff like that, how much the locals are spending, but 9 times out of 10, you're going to spend a lot more than that, just because you're not going to pay the same local prices. You know, and ultimately, when it comes boiled down to it, people run out of money a lot faster than they expect to. We actually spent more money than we expected to. You got to think about emergencies, unexpected costs, visas, I mean, everything. So the best practice to do is try to have some, and I know you heard it before, have a little bit of income coming in, because your savings, I promise you, won't last forever. I don't care how much money you have. It's going to eventually run out, and it's going to run out faster than you may expect.
Another thing is not being able to adjust to the lifestyle. So really depending on what country you go to, I mean, their cultures are going to be significantly different. And no matter what country you come to on the continent, it's going to be different than America. I mean, we're in South Africa and it's more like America, but it's still not that same way. So, you know, I think that a lot of people are going to expect it to be a certain way or want it to be a certain way. And some people are going to roll with the punches. Some people are going to adapt. A lot of people are going to like it significantly better and never want to go back. But you have to be realistic and understand that the culture shock and just everything might overwhelm you, and you might not want to be wherever you are. And not just going back to America, but, you know, a lot of people bounce country to country too when they expected to stay in a certain place.
And for those that think they're going to come, you know, out here and live just like the locals, it's because I hear that talk so much, like, oh, you know, I'm not coming to Africa to live Western or anything like that. But you have to realize you're not used to living a lifestyle like that. Like a lot of locals, especially in the more impoverished areas in these countries, they don't have hot water, running water, that toilets are outside. Like, it's hard living. And to think that you can just come from one of the most convenient places in the world and then all of a sudden change your lifestyle is a huge culture shock. And I would say most people cannot handle that.
Right.
So you have to be realistic with yourself. I know you want to come to Africa and live a certain way and just get rid of what you had in these other countries, but you just give yourself some grace and some wiggle room to adjust before you just go all in.
And that's going to lead right into the next topic, which is feeling homesick or missing your family. So it is easy to say, I'm going to move to another country and whatever. But, you know, the time difference starts to hit you, and it's harder and harder to talk to family. You know, they have to work, and it's nighttime here and it's daytime there and all this. So you can start to feel really disconnected from the people that, you know, are closest to you. And it can get hard really fast.
Now, we know some people don't have a lot of support where they came from, and they might not have that issue. But for those like us that have close family in the States still, you know, we felt that. We missed our family because we love them. And so if you're a person like that misses your family, love them, that could cause you to want to go back, because you might feel like you don't have that family here. You know, if you close with family, that's a huge adjustment.
Right.
It really is, and you won't understand that until you move somewhere else and you don't have your family around.
The next thing we're going to talk about is crime. So a lot of people get scammed when they come out here. You know, they hear your accent, they know you're not from here. A lot of people are gonna try to take advantage. They're gonna charge you more for stuff. They're gonna, you know, lead you astray in some ways sometimes, you know, if you don't find someone that you can actually trust. We know people that got robbed and all kinds of stuff. And even like if y'all watch our Delali video, you'll see the stuff that we went through, which that was a scam that ended up not affecting us negatively. Praise y'all. But yeah, those things happen, and it's more likely going to happen to you because you're a foreigner and you don't know what's going on and you don't know their ways and how you know things work.
Yeah, and a lot of people cannot handle that.
Right.
It's a tough deal. We had many situations to where we had a lot of struggles trying to buy things, trying to maneuver, and so like I said, we understand that.
Right.
But it causes people to want to leave.
Right.
We understand, but you have to stick it out for the long haul if there's something that you're being called to do.
And sometimes when people get scammed or get robbed, it can make you really spiral. I remember watching a video, I don't even remember where this lady was, but she got robbed and she was crying and she was like, I'm going home and never coming back here again. You know, a lot of people, when they're trying to move to another country, you sell everything and you move to this country. So everything I own is here. If somebody takes everything I own, it's a huge blow. And that's what happened, you know, to this lady that I was watching on this video. And it was really sad to watch. You know, they had the bars on the window. They literally ripped the bars off. Like it was holes in the concrete where they snatched it off. And they came in, I guess, while she was sleeping and took all of her stuff. And, you know, things like that happen. And the last thing we're going to talk about is immigration. So there are a lot of situations where, you know, the visa situation or whatever it is can be kind of difficult. Like when we went to Tanzania, you can get a year visa, but you have to leave every 3 months. Hassle. So yeah, it's a hassle. People that are especially there with like a lot of children or stuff like that, or like I was pregnant, we were planning on leaving, but then the stuff happened that happened, and you know, it would have been ideal to have to. But for a lot of people, like if you have a large family,
it could be very costly.
Even if you're taking a bus or whatever, it can be very costly to leave every, you know, 3 months. You gotta find a place to go. You gotta find a place to stay when you get there, or try to cross the border and come back, or whatever it is. But it can be definitely difficult. And also when you go to immigration to do things, depending on the country, if they're really open to people even staying, you could feel very unwelcome if it's not a country that really wants all these people coming in anyway.
Yeah, they would. We've heard stories of immigration making clear that they don't want you there, having attitudes, and I'm not saying it's like that everywhere, but we've heard many stories of it being like that in multiple different countries, and that can be very frustrating for people and cause people to want to leave. And in saying that, we just want to let you guys know that the whole reason behind us traveling, going around, is not only for us to see which countries are good for us and to see kind of what the processes are like, but to also help you guys out too and show you. And so you can make a more informed decision about what you want to do next, and just give you the real, you know, not sugarcoat anything, and let you know there are struggles and things that you might have to deal with. But if you're called to do it, just keep pushing toward the mark and press on. So in saying that, family, I want to say we love you so much and we thank you for watching all the way through. And as always, family, shalom.
Shalom.